Hey guys, Mozu with Necromancy here, and believe it or not, I have not done a pure caster build yet. Most of my builds have been melee focused. For this overpowered build though, I'm bringing you my favorite caster, the follower of Nurgle. Death, Decay, and Rot. My favorite caster in the game, the Circle of Spores Druid. In my opinion, this is an incredibly powerful caster. High damaging necrotic, poison spells, incredible summons. I think it's the best summoner in the game, honestly. It stays in line with the theme, the poison, the necrotic, the acid, massive utility and party control, and access to a plethora of actions, bonus actions, and reactions. It's a very involved caster during your turns. My inspiration with the build is simple. Nurgle is my favorite chaos god. In many fantasy games, I love the Death Knights, the Powers of the Undead, the Liches, the more anti-hero type, right? It really appeals to me. Making a pure caster that accomplishes all these feats while still being that like Nurgle slow, tanky, walking juggernaut is just awesome. So let's get into the build. Alright guys, so I know I've been switching it up lately, doing the 1 to 12 in the actual character creator and spreadsheets. I really just go off of feel what I think is going to be better. For the casters, I actually recorded a very lengthy 1 to 12. And again, I'm trying to be brief for the sake of brevity. I think the spreadsheet is just a better tool. In this case, it'll be faster, right? Okay, so I'll mark this now. Ignore what I just said, of course. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Throw that in there. So this is going to be the Circle of Spores Druid, the Nurgle girl, the Nurgle boy, whatever you want to call it. The Nurgle cutlass, right? And first off, ability point layout. The most important thing to note is that whichever class you go first, that is not going to be the roll of ability points that you use for spell save DC and spell attack. The second dip is going to override it. That is why, if you're going to go mono druid, ignore this. But if you're going to go wizard first, or paladin, or sorcerer, or warlock even, right? You must go those first. You're going to get medium armor proficiency either way, right? There's no reason to not go the dip first. The reason why is because if you're going to be a wisdom druid, which is their main role, you have to go druid second. That way your spells will use wisdom. Very important. Now, there's a catch to that too, right? Because let's say you actually purposely want to roll a druid that uses charisma. You can do that. Just go the 10 levels druid or 11 levels druid and do a 1 level dip into warlock, wizard, or sorc. Int or charisma respectively, paladin 2, and you can do it that way, right? So because that way you can utilize some different cantrips and stuff like that. You can be an eldritch blaster, druid warlock if you wanted to, with like strong summons and more necrotic reactions, stuff like that. Big thing to remember. So again, ability with light, the reason why we go 16 dex is we're to maximize the +3 for the light armor. Our end game is going to be light armor. You can use medium armor if you want, but in that case, just go 14 dex and then 16 con instead. So 17 wisdom, of course, we're going to ASI to get 19 in our first feat, and then you can use Ethel's, or you can use later in the game in Act 3, Jaheira's necklace, I think. It gives +1 wisdom. I'm using it. It's easy to obtain, and you round it out to 20, you max that out, right? If you want to go even further, you go Shard's Mirror. If you want to go super try hard, you can actually just make a Charisma Druid, and you can do the same method that you used for the Lockadin, where you just go the ASI, 17 and 19, Ethels, then you go Birthright Helm, then you go Shard's Mirror, you get 24 Charisma, and you'll be rolling that Charisma with Druid. I have tested it, going last 2 levels in Sorc, or Lock does override your Druid spell save DC and spell attack roll. Very important. Now, that's the ability point layout. Here's the full level breakdown. I added some 4-level dips that you might be interested in the footage. I am Sorc. I think Wizard is probably the best, just because while magic is very RNG oriented, the meta magic is not too good because you're really only going to be able to use level 1s and repeat that, and it's just not really worth it. 20 knows. For the second feat, Shield Master, Warcaster Alert, Dual Wield. Again, for power gaming, I'll talk about the gear in a second. That is going to be the best method to power game using the Miracles from the Sorcerer's Sunday Staff. It's absolutely insane, dual wielding that. And the Staff of Cherished Necromancy. I have some BG3 wiki links in here too. The big 2 pieces I'll talk about again in a second is going to be the staff and the body armor, right? The rest of the gear, everything's, again, I'll say it in a minute, but increased spell save DC difficulty and increased spell attack roll. Pretty much the build highlights how you're going to play the build. Use your low-level spells, cantrips, really only cast those, maybe to 3 at most, and you want to be able to secure and generate kills. Right now, Life Essence is kind of, I don't know if it's bugged or working as intended, But once you get Life Essence one time, you pretty much will cast your level 6 spells unlimitedly. It's actually crazy, right? Also, make sure that you use your symbiotic entity. Make sure that's always up. Again, that's 40 health, 44 if you go 11, if 48 if you go mono Druid, and your big damage is going to be the Blight, Contagion, Cloud Kill, Chromatic, a lot of other spells that you can upcast to 6, and you can cast these for free for the entirety, right? Like, I don't know why, if it's bugged or something, but from the way I word it is that pretty much you get a kill, then you get one free cast. It does not work that way. You actually get to keep on using these same free casts. It's pretty damn awesome. So that concludes the spreadsheet. I'm going to get back into gear, actual visible portion, and then highlights and how to pilot the build. Alright guys, so for gear, it's very, very simple. Get whatever gear is going to increase your spell save DC and your spell attack rolls. That's going to be the vast majority of your damage, your utility, your control. Everything revolves around that. The build, the highlights around the chest and the staff I talked about in the Google Sheets. The best staff in the game is going to be Marco Share, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it, whatever. It's probably the best one, but I thought that was the best one until I actually started to test this and started to realize that your life essence, watch this, I'll just blight my own team, right? I have 2 turns. That's 2 turns. I don't know why that does not go down. That literally does not go down. I'll kill this person right here. I'm sorry, forgive me, right? And we still have, now we have 3 turns of life essence, right? One thing to know is that you cannot turn this into a summon when you use this Cherished, whatever, of the Cherished Undead. So that's one thing, but it doesn't really matter because we're not a summoner build. We have the option to lean that way if you want to, switch out some gear pieces, get the Paladin Aura of Hate to buff your summons if you want to. That is an option, but again, we are the Nurgle, the Death, Rot, and Decay caster. We're going to use the Poison, Acid, Necrotic spells, Spore Keeper, stuff like that, AoE Spore damage, Necrotic AoE damage, and you know, we're going to be that style. But again, you see it right here, just make sure you actually toggle it, and you'll just get level 6 spells. Level 6 spells, this also works with the summons, so this is one of the best ways to completely eliminate annoyance with summons, because you could just use summons for free. One of them dies, you didn't use a spell slot. So that's very, very awesome. That is with the necrotic, only the undead, actually. You can't do this with the elementals because that's not a necrotic spell. But I do think this staff actually outweighs Marco Shear. Again, for the chest piece, you get 3 utilities. The big one is going to be Haste Spores. You get each of these per long rest, I believe. Yes, so you get AoE Haste Spore. Oh, they finally come to get me, right? Now, with that, we'll get into actually piloting the build, right? This is not a solo, you know, Omega carry build. This is a very complimentary piece. The one thing to note is that I actually had to redo everything because I really did not expect the staff that worked that way, so I was actually incorporating the build into a method to where I actually had to utilize Jaheira getting the final kills. That doesn't even matter anymore. It really, really doesn't. With that said, the big things that you want to do before combat, make sure you have your symbiotic entity. It's a very, very big deal. In this case, I had the 2 sorcerer, 10 druid, so we have 40 temporary, pretty much 40 extra effective health, 124. Besides Shadowheart using the Constitution neck, she has the highest health in the party. Very, very tanky. Good AC, even with light armor. You see we get the +3 from Dex. I like using a shield. Again, the power gaming option will be the dual wield staffs. But hey, let's say you wanted 2 casters in the build, right? Let's say you wanted a Warlock, a pure Warlock, a hybrid Eldritch caster, like a Sorlock, going twin, meta magic, and really, really using that. And maybe you want to have them, the Marco Share, whatever, and maybe you want them to deal with stats, right? Now you have the option to still be relatively tanky. We have shield reaction. It's a very, very good method to increase our tankiness. For concentration, a lot of the times, I actually like using Stone Skin. It does not affect magical, but bludgeoning, piercing, melee, you know, again, in this case, the archer, the javelin thrower here, you're going to have that damage, which increases the effective HP because you're maintaining your temporary health for longer. The temporary health recharges every short rest. So you get 2. If you have a bard, you get 3. Pretty much what's going to happen is, in this situation, if you had a bard, you'd have 240 effective health, which is pretty damn good, you know, to me at least. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty awesome. But, or 24, I'm sorry. Yeah, 240, yeah, 240. My math is sometimes correct, right? But that's pretty much it, guys. When it comes to actually dealing damage, you really just want to use whatever thematic spell that you can, right? Just be aware that some of these things that you can upcast, Blight is the big D damage. It's a very visually satisfying spell. Cloud Kill is one of my favorites. Contagion is really, really good. You see it has that nice effect. I can't do the turn right now. Let me do this, and I'll keep talking, right? monk is disgusting. Everybody knows that. But yeah, you know, use it within combination of the party. Ooh, yeah, we are Warcaster, so I could have actually shotgun grabs that too. That's pretty funny. Or opportunity spell, yeah. And we actually generated a counter spell there. But again, your role varies within the party. One of the most interesting thing when it actually comes to the Circle of the Spores is how involved of a caster it is, right? I love the fact that you get action, bonus action, and reaction. You get AoE damage. You get good single target. You get good AoE. You get very good control. There's a lot of great things about this build. I absolutely love playing it. Like right here, we make sure you trigger consume life essence. Right here, you're gonna upcast this to 6, and we hope, you know, 99% chance, and we get the one shot, right? This damage isn't gonna absolutely break the game, which is what I actually like about it. It still feels fair, and it actually feels like I'm creating a build that's utilizing the constraints of the game and not just completely breaking it again, like some other, like the monk does. Like I'm using the monk now. It's just it just doesn't really feel fair sometimes. Some notes for the early game while you're leveling. Shalehi is a very good. I probably didn't pronounce that right. It's a very good actually method to get some reliable melee damage out. You know, when you think about it, that's actually faster to get Druid melee damage using your caster modifier than the Warlock does. So it's good because spell resources in the early game are very difficult. So if you do make your MC or Druid, I ranked them pretty low on the early game tier list, but they're pretty solid. They're just a pretty solid all around okay early game class. They really take off later in the game, I feel like. That was my action, that was my kill. And again, you keep seeing, I keep the turns for the life essence increase, but they don't get consumed. It's probably a bug, but hey, it is what it is, right? For the sorcerer dip, again, we were only 2 levels, so I took twin. You can't really use twin that much because you only have 2 Sorc points, so like you can't really upcast it and get some crazy damage like that. For the bonus action, you're gonna get spreading spores, which is a 2d16 AoE. The nicest thing about this is that it does not affect your allies, and this is a consistent AoE zone that does damage over time. The more turns, the more value this gets. The benefit is that your team can run right in there, not be effective. It forces range casters, range archers to actually move out of the area, stuff like that. It's a very good control, damage, and as a bonus action, it's just really, really, really solid. You see the areas developing there. Now, your melees can go in there and finish the job, right? It's just very, very good. And then, of course, you have a reaction. I think I shielded during that passive. I don't know where my reaction is, but you can fungal summon, which is very, very good. One thing to know about a lot of the summons, the early ones, is that when they get one attack off, they are actually able, if you do kill that monster, to generate another summon. So there's a very, very cool snowball effect. In this style of play, I'm not using summons too much. It kind of just like raffle stops the game for me. It's too easy, but I do think it's a goddamn awesome play style, and it's a different way to play the game. Like action, bonus action, reaction, you're very, very involved as a Circle of Spores Druid. Late game, it's definitely very, very strong. It's up there when it comes to actually class rankings, I believe. And it's a very, very nice playstyle. That's pretty much gonna be it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave it in the comments. I would really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the love I've been getting. I kind of wish I could do more videos and stuff like that, but this one was a mess because I spent probably like a good couple hours, you know, over a few days, you know, between work and stuff like that, of actually trying to get footage, because I did one whole method. I had like a 30-minute video of just like the level up screen. Like it was ridiculous with the spell selection and stuff like that. But again, talking about spell selection before I close out, pretty much go with whatever you want. As long as it's pretty much lore appropriate to me, then necrotic, the poison, acid, utility, contagion, stuff like that, the summons, the fungalness, awesome, cool, very involved playstyle. You guys, I really think somebody should give it a try. Make your hero it, make your MC, recruit Withers NPC and use it that way. Give it a shot, guys. It's a very cool, interesting build. Mozu with Necromancy here. Have a good one.